My name is Leon Ivy. I am a UI designer and a web developer. I've been designing and developing websites for over 7 years, many of which have been versions of WordPress or other content management systems such as Paperstreet's own Total Control, which may be very similar to some viewers if you have been a Paperstreet client over the years. Okay, so whether you're completely new to WordPress or to the internet, you should know WordPress is one of the best solutions available that allows you to easily add and modify the content on your website. And one reason it's so popular is because WordPress has become widely known as one of the more search engine friendly CMS systems, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Alright, so with more than half of all new websites being built today are using WordPress, we've taken the time to create a list of reasons to demand or feel some kind of pride that you've made the right decision in creating your website inside of WordPress. The chart I'm showing you here actually does show recent studies. You can visit the link in our resources section at the end of the presentation just to confirm. And yeah, let's move on. All right, so first, let's start with the most obvious and difficult aspect of managing any website. It has to be easy. It has to be easy. Users and editors such as yourself have to be able to easily add and modify and delete any existing or new content without any prior HTML or CSS knowledge. This can be easily accessed by your user's ability to transfer content from, let's say, Microsoft Word, which I know you're all familiar with, to a new platform such as WordPress, which we create our articles in Word and then probably transfer them over to a WordPress post or page. Kindly note that Paperstreet does offer one-on-one training sessions with every client once their site has been built and approved in WordPress. So we actually do go over a lot of this stuff with you once you signed on as a client. Also, for the purposes of this presentation, we have created a simple WordPress installation which you guys can easily access. It's webinar. It's actually www.webinars.paperstreet.com/WordPress/WP-admin, or the short of that would be bit.ly/paperstreet-WordPress. So you can use any one of those URLs to kind of just follow along with us, or just if you don't have an admin section up right now, then you can visit that URL, and the login information should be demo. So it's demo for username, demo for password. All right, cool. All right, so right. All right. So the following is a list of some of the features that come standard with WordPress. However, there are literally tens of thousands of plugins that can extend what WordPress does, so the actual functionality of WordPress is nearly limitless. Let's review a few benefits that make WordPress our CMS of choice. All right. So one of the benefits here is ease of use. It's SEO optimized, extended functionality, and you have the ability to change designs quickly. Okay. All right, so let's just go back into ease of use. WordPress makes sharing content and attracting readers to your site a breeze. Whether it's pushing content to social networks, ensuring that your website is provided with the optimal format to appear at the top of your search engine results, the moment you hit publish or publish on your post, you're providing the user with the ability to subscribe to that specific content in their favorite feed readers or social network, or however they may find your website on the web. So in this case, WordPress is not then just a CMS, or rather a content publishing platform. Um, so with that quote there, with a single click, a you have a powerful megaphone to broadcast your message to the world. Recent updates to WordPress have also improved its ability to copy and paste text from your favorite text editor, such as Microsoft Word. In the past, we've had clients complaining of, well, my page doesn't appear right or my post doesn't appear right, and that was mainly due to creating your content in a external app such as Microsoft Word, and then copying that text into WordPress, which then creates a few hidden fields, which can be a little bit detrimental to your website. Okay, so the next note is it's SEO optimized. That's great. Everyone wants. This is the reason why you sign on with us, because you want to be ranked, or you want your site to be ranked #1 for your chosen keywords. So this is WordPress saying Google loves WordPress. This is true. Although Google in this instance loves that WordPress sites are typically constantly being updated, and they contain the proper formatting, which allows your site to be easily ranked. We could switch that phrase to say, well, Google loves websites that are frequently updated. So I mean, whether it's WordPress or Total Control, the fact is we're just looking. Google is pretty much looking at your site to see, well, how active are you on it, and are you updating your site constantly? Is this something I should be checking for every week? Okay, so let's go into some extended functionality. WordPress is supported by a vibrant community of users who have already solved many of the toughest challenges to share information today, such as my presentation today. WordPress has created that. It has this open community where it's created this platform where, because it's open source, a lot of the issues or any bugs we may have already been experienced by previous users. So we can always Google a problem with WordPress and more than 9 times out of 10 find a reasonable solution quickly. So that's a great reason to using WordPress. We use some extended functionality in WordPress on your sites mainly to create attorney listings or create offices, contact forms, practice areas. These are all examples of extended functionality, which, thanks to a great community, have become standard on our websites. Right. So, the last note we have here is, WordPress, again, is a content management system first. Therefore, the content you create in WordPress is never really lost until it is that you no longer wish to have that content on your website. And by that, I mean you actually delete the post or page from your website. So it will always be there. And one of the great benefits of this is that at any time, if you wish to do a redesign or a quick touch up on your website, maybe you want to add a new button or you saw something really cool on another site, WordPress is built so we can add those new functionalities without breaking the core of your website. You never actually lose your content, which in this day and age, content is king, and we never want to really lose that. All right. And also, if you have the pleasure of being one of our SEO clients, then I'm sure you've heard the term content is king before from Alex, our SEO director. Okay. All right, so let's move right into the main presentation here. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing how we can easily add posts and pages to your website, how we can add and also modify new attorneys and other custom types, how we deal with media such as V-cards, photos, or PDFs on your website, and we can briefly discuss how you can maintain your website for at least an hour a day to kind of give yourself that reassuring fact that your site's performing optimally. Okay. All right, so the remainder of this presentation will be discussing the features all available to you strictly in the admin section of your website. So if you've never seen the admin section of your website, it's your website's domain with the prefix slash WP dash domain. And that's WP slash domain at the end of your domain URL. And it'll ask you for some login information, or you can use the link we provided to or you can use the link we easily provided to go into our demo site. Again, that demo site is www.bit.ly/paperstreet-wordpress. And you can easily go there. It will ask you for your username and password. Your username and password should be demo and demo. And once you log in, you can start to see a very basic site or basic backend we have with our WordPress site. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to discuss here is how to add pages or posts to your website. First, I think it's very important that we distinguish the difference between adding a new page and adding a new post to your website. You can think of it this way. We'll use pages to build your website. And I say build your website in a way that pages are typically more like an About Us page, or our firm, or a Contact Us, or even a brochures page. It's anything that gives that official feel to your website. That isn't necessarily breaking news or a quick update to your website. These changes, these pages rarely ever change, so that's why they're considered pages in this sense. And again, pages allow you to create, an infinite amount of new sections to your website, which you can use to announce company news, or even changes to your site that you're expecting. So pages in this sense can represent any type of information you prefer, while posts are more commonly created to represent stories or recent articles that have something to do with your website. Once you've logged into your admin section, you'll notice the different controls created on the left-hand menu. This is known as the main menu. If your site uses any extra functionality, such as attorneys' offices or testimonials, then this is where you would access that information. It will all be listed there under that main menu. And again, you can see everything there, from posts to comments to pages to attorneys. All right. So let's just hover over the menu item that says post. And that's the URL that we're referring to. And just in case anyone didn't get to it, I would kind of wish everyone would follow along. It makes it a lot easier when it's not just me explaining things to you, and maybe you can follow along and create a couple pages, a couple posts. It's no problem. Okay. So I'll give you a second to copy that URL. Okay, great. All right, so let's add a post or page. Sorry. All right, so let's hover over the menu item that says post. Let's hover over the menu item that says post. In this sense, you're going to see it. You see the image right there on my right-hand screen. You see a screenshot of the same website that you're currently logged into, and you see that I've already created a sample post called Hello World. All right. So once you've selected post, note the button next to its title that says Add New. All right. So everyone can go ahead and click that, and I'm assuming everyone will probably create a new page. So congratulations to those who are working along at home. You've successfully begun the process to create your first article. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So WordPress as an editor allows you to collaborate and publish with multiple people and users. You do not need to create your post in Word and then copy it into WordPress. You can simply create all your articles within WordPress and save it as a draft or a private article, and then have other users log in, make their adjustments, and then publish. Uh, the editor here strongly resembles a simplified version of Microsoft Office. And you can see here, I've taken a screenshot where you see the simple menu that's there, where it has bold, italic, strike through, a list, numbered items, quotes, and a read more tag. Read more tag kind of separates content from the home page, which is that little snippet you would see. So everything above the read more tag is what would typically be shown on your home page. While once on that internal page, it will show all of your content. So once you've created your new post, it's time to give it a title. Since I've already created the title "Hello World," everyone can go in and create the title "Hello" with your first name in there, just so we don't have duplicate posts in this sense. Alright, so you'll notice this is the first field on the page, and it'll be the main title users see when they share your page on any social media network. An example of a post title is Tapestry is one of the world's best design and development companies. Great. You created your title, it's catchy, and will be sure to get your users' attention once your site launches or once you share your link. Okay. So once you've created your title, you'll start to see that WordPress makes some smart assumptions here as to what your category and your URL will also look like. While this is a great feature, this requires a bit of human input, especially since the assumed URL for this article will now reflect something similar to Tapestry is -one of dash. You can go on. The URL field is located directly below the title and may appear blank until you've entered a full title. Quick SEO tip here. To create friendly, the generated URL for pages with names this long is usually no good for your SEO campaign or users who simply want to refer your article to a friend. A good rule of thumb here is to place your keywords first and keep your URL as short as possible. Words such as is and of are commonly used in titles, but can be safely omitted from the URL. To edit the URL is simple. Select the edit button at the end of the URL field and replace the text inside. This is still a working site URL, and as such, WordPress will not accept special characters with the exceptions of dashes. So no spaces in your URLs, no crazy dollar signs or @ signs. You keep it simple. Okay. All right. So next thing you're going to notice here is the default category that WordPress has created for you. By default, WordPress has deemed the category uncategorized, and by that sense, we recommend that companies that have a very active blog or news section create categories. This may be used to separate articles based on the content or its intent for the user. Common categories include firm news, cases and media, downloadable files, or anything really that kind of separates your post. Based on your site design and layout, your articles may be visible on different pages. Be sure to ask your webmaster or developer how articles may be filtered on your page, and should you be aware of any missing information that may make this post appear incomplete. Okay. So we finally made it to the fun part. Once you've named, labeled, and branded your article, it's time to add the content. The most noticeable field on any post or page is the main content area. This area isn't usually labeled, but will appear as a simplified text editor below the title and URL, to the left of the category's main column. Sorry, in the main column. All right, so take full advantage of the editing options here. Uh, to It's a little bit different here than it would be in Word. Um, in WordPress, you highlight the intended text area and select the editing option from the drop down below. So you can see here where I've taken my first line and I've just highlighted that line. I placed it on a new line, and since that is a new subsection on this page, I've given it the title heading 2. If you cannot see that heading 2 title, note that the last icon in your toolbar is a show more icon. So if you click that, you should be able to see a little bit more tools that you can take advantage of. And it's selected here for you. Yeah. Okay, great. Alright, so best practices here imply that all pages should have a very visible hierarchy of information presented to the user. This means having a main title, content, subtitle, list, another subtitle, as long as the content is written in a way where it's just paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. Even books have chapters. So yeah. So if you're adding some content to your site now, I would consider just creating a quick little mock-up of your page. Try to create a new title for yourself. Again, at the end, if you're unable to do this, this may be something we review further with you, just to make it easier. But I would suggest create a line, select your paragraph tag, and change your format from a paragraph to a heading 2 or a heading 3, and then below that continue to write your paragraph text. And once you've successfully done that, then you've successfully added some content to your website. Very good. Once you've added all the information you need, it's time to publish. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's humorous because NBA. Okay. So, unless WordPress pages and posts all use the same status feature, which allows, WordPress pages and posts all use the same status feature, which allows you to control who's able to see the post and who's able to modify the post before you publish. So if you need to write an article over a few days or while you're on your phone or your tablet, consider that WordPress would allow you to save your article or page as a draft. Drafts are visible only by the content editors and can be modified instantly before being published. And again, that save as a draft option is something we look at further. But if you need to save your current article as a draft, then once you look in your right-hand column, you will see the save as a draft option right below the publish or update button. And again, this is in your right-hand column above categories to the left of your main content area. But if you're comfortable and confident you do not need to edit this article anymore, then kindly select the publish button and watch your articles go viral, assuming you share them with friends. So congratulations on publishing your first post. The process above is very similar for all future publications on your site. This includes pages, attorneys, offices, etc. If you no longer wish to feature, the difference in most cases is that pages do not require categories, and attorneys or offices will require a bit more information to publish. These fields are generally listed below the main content area and can range in input types from dates to location to position and email, or V cards. So you can do a lot with a WordPress post, and we're going to take a look at all that in a second. So, took you some months, but you finally have an amazing site. You've published a few articles, you've created a couple hundred pages, you're ranked on Google. It's time to relax. Um, It's also been a few months, so hopefully you've hired some new attorneys or some staff members who wish to be listed on your website. Or alternatively, you may have some attorneys who have moved on or need their information to be updated. Alright, so let's take a look at that. So in this section, we're going to take a look at how we add and modify new attorneys. And attorneys in this sense could also be any content you choose. So you could be adding or modifying a new post, or you could be adding or modifying a new page. It's very similar in the way that it's all structured. In the left main menu below Posts and Pages, your site will feature all the custom post types that's required by your firm, such as an attorney section or practice areas, offices, specialties, contact form, so on and so forth. This will all be listed in that main left nav. You can easily access any section of your site through that main nav. Okay. To edit or remove any attorney, first select the attorney tab. First select the attorney tab and find the attorney name you're trying to edit. From the list below, once you click edit, if you no longer wish to feature this attorney on your website, but you do not want to lose his information, then once the attorney edit page, then once you're on the attorney edit page, select Save as Draft from the drop-down menu in the right column. It's next to Publish or Update. So if you don't wish to lose any attorney information, but they're no longer working for you or no longer at your firm, but you still need their information on file for future reference, then you can simply save that attorney as a draft and access that information later. And in the same fashion, if you wish to completely remove this attorney from your website, then select the trash from the drop-down menu. It's all in the same section. All right. So most attorneys or edits outside of posts and pages will require a little bit more information to publish properly on your website. This additional information may include sidebar info, such as an education or contact information, which can be filled from the input fields below the main content area of the attorney edit page. Input fields such as phone numbers, emails, last name, for some search reasons, can all be entered dynamically by filling out the form as you would any other. So here is an example of a attorney bio page which we created. And you can see here, it asks for some additional information below the main content area. It's asking for the attorney name, the attorney position, his email address, a downloadable V card, and a small photo which can be used throughout the site. Depending on how your site was built, these options may also appear in a drop-down format, they also may appear in a drop-down format, which restricts you to the positions that you're able to assign to attorneys. Okay. All right, so other fields such as V-cards, PDFs, or photos may require you to upload a file to your site using the Add File button next to the indicated title. For security reasons, we disable certain files from being uploaded. This way, we can be very wary of the type of files that we want to give to our users and ensure that they're not downloading any viruses to their computer. So for this example, if you needed to create a V card to add to your attorney profile, then we'd go to the website vcardmaker.com. enter our necessary information, and generate a vCard there, and then click Add File, and from the menu, just add the file there. And once it's added, and on your attorney profile, your users will be easily able to download your attorney's vCard. Alright, so let's take a time to walk through the process of uploading and adding files to your WordPress blog or custom files. So this is what the pop-up would look like once it's asking you to add a file or a photo to your website. Instantly, once you select Add File, Add Photo, this will pop up. It may appear a little bit different based on your version of WordPress. We'll discuss that later. But for common practice, or typically this is how it will appear, you're able to access files previously uploaded from the Media Library tab and upload new files from the Upload Files tab. So just select the tab that says Upload the file, select the image you like to be associated with the post, and once you've selected your photo, WordPress again will make some smart assumptions on how you like this photo to appear on your page. Similar to editing documents in Microsoft Word, you're able to select whether or not you want to be able to resize the photo or adjust its position on the page. The settings are found in the right column below. It will say Attachment Display Settings. So once you've selected a photo, and I recommend that you each just upload a random photo, nothing too personal, please. And once that file is uploaded, you're going to realize in the right-hand column, there's a new section in that photo pop-up box that says Attachment Display Settings. And at this point, you can modify the photo any way you wish. It will ask you if you want to align the photo to any particular part of the page. Maybe you want to center the photo or align it to the left so the text will wrap around, or align it to the right for the same effect. Or even resize. Maybe your photo is a little bit too big for your page, so you can easily just drag the corners of that edited photo, or select from the drop-down menu in that section, a different size. It's easy to note here that once you upload any image to WordPress, WordPress creates multiple variations of that image, and it will size them differently to be used throughout the site. So you may want to use a thumbnail or like a medium-sized image if you don't want to use the full-size image. Okay. So once you've adjusted the settings, you would like to then select the Insert into Post button, which will add the photo at the last place your cursor was selected in the content field. Photos added this way are typically the same photo that will appear in your social media account as thumbnails once you share the link. And this is a very important note to the fact that it's amazing practice to add photos to your posts and pages, because what happens is, based on studies, you get up to 39% more interactions. That's comments, that's shares, that's links, that's likes on your URLs that are shared with photos than without. Okay, and I've included the reference for that in the resources section. So consider this for all pages, and make it a really great firm practice that you do have some photo to go along with your articles. Okay, so let's move ahead. All right, so just to be sure, attorney photos or vCards are added the same way. It's just using a different select button. So just to be sure to use the card generator tool if you're unsure of the information in your vCard or need to make any adjustments and upload the exported files. So you can see here, I placed the link. You can recreate your vCard or modify your existing vCard here, and then once you're done, you can select Add File. Or create that little pop-up box for you. You can add your file there following the prompts, and it'll be the same for turning by your photos. Be sure to use high quality images for these because these are, they're displayed all throughout your site in multiple locations at multiple sizes. So at this point, I hope everyone's a bit more comfortable adding, modifying, or deleting content on your site. So let's move on to our next section, the day-to-day maintenance. Although Paperstreet does monitor and update client sites on a regular basis, the fact that you may be able to do so yourself may be a little bit more appealing to you. Not to mention, you get to call us and discuss further maintenance options to ensure your site is always performing optimally. A good practice here is an hour a day keeps the Paperstreet away. I'm kidding. An hour a day is all you and your team really needs to efficiently manage your WordPress installation. Once in the dashboard section of your WordPress site, consider these 5 steps and ensure that your site is always optimized. Update to the newest version of WordPress or update its plugins. Delete spam comments. Fix and find broken links. Review pages, sidebar, and footer content. Check that your contact form is working and asking for the necessary information. The shorter the form, the better. As a developer, my favorite quote is, "If I had more time, I would have wrote less," which is typically the mindset we have towards completing tasks and getting them done in a timely fashion with little or no complexity or bloating. So WordPress will notify you in your dashboard section right at the top if you have any major files that need to be updated. And it does so for the plugin section also. It creates a badge button that will live at the top of your page in your dashboard with a list of plugins and available updates that you have the option to update. Updating any plugin or version of WordPress means that your site will be temporarily disabled, so choose your update schedule carefully. Also note that some updates may break your custom code or features, therefore check with Paperstreet or your webmaster to ensure that they have frequent backups of your sites easily available. The latest version of WordPress is 3.9. which is awesome, and it's named after a jazz musician called Jimmy Smith. So be sure to call Paperstreet and ask if your website is running Jimmy Smith. I assure you someone here will know what that means. Okay. So, due to the high number of bots and hacks that target websites every day, it's almost impossible not to have a few spam comments on your site. Although these may not always be visible to your users, too many spam comments can seriously start to affect your website speed and bloating your database with useless information. To manage comments and spam on your website, select the comments button directly below the pages button in your main menu sidebar. You'll notice that WordPress, again, makes some very smart assumptions on what it considers to be spam. Spam comments are typically highlighted yellow, while comments waiting to be approved or approved comments may just appear to have a white background. Again, this is from the list that WordPress creates once you select comments below post on your main menu. The options here are very straightforward. Once you hover over the comment title, the options will appear below. Most comments have to be approved to be visible on the site, while others can just be simply flagged as spam or deleted and completely removed from your site. So, next step here is your Google Analytics and stats play a very important role in your site's development. After a while, you'll start to realize that your sources have grown from just being Google and Facebook including maybe a link from CNN or an article on NY Time. And you have to ensure that these links or articles are being linked to the right section of your website. And I can imagine a lot of our clients have these, these major websites that every now and again will link out to them. And what happens is, if that link to you is going to the wrong place, then you're losing out on a lot of conversion opportunities. And the reason for this is that human error often occurs here with other publishers, maybe linking to the incorrect article on your site, or just having a typo in the URL they link to. And what this shows as on your site is a 404 error, which is a 404 error is an error that occurs once the content for that page cannot be found on your website. So it's either given the wrong URL or the content does not exist. Okay. A great plugin to monitor these changes is called 404 Redirected. If your site admin or developer has not yet installed this plugin, make a request from him to do so ASAP. 404 Redirected captures all the way users enter your site. 404 Redirected captures all the way users are entering your site and not finding the information they need. Your job here is to make sure that you can make the proper suggestions or do a automatic redirect to the section that you think there was intended to link to. And again, this we've seen on a couple sites, or in my past experience, I've seen where not having that proper 404 set up is costing you to miss out on thousands of page views per day, because more popular sites would link to you, but they would oftentimes include a wrong URL or outdated URL. So then you have thousands of visitors coming to your site, but they're all going to the wrong section. Okay. So once you've done that, back to the basics. Remember, WordPress is a content management system, which means that all the content on your site is somehow tied together with simple page snippets and sidebars and footers. It's important to monitor your site for your content. This has to be done manually. So what I suggest is once a week, you open a few pages on your website, whether it be you open all your practice areas, or you open all your attorney bios, or you open a few blog articles. Just check for consistency in your content across your website. We want to make sure that links are being handled properly, and that there's no typos or errors that may put you in trouble with your website. Okay. It's very plain to note that errors found this way are very minimal, but if left unattended, can be significantly detrimental to your website. Okay. So the last and what I consider to be the most important step in your maintenance routine is optimizing your contact form, right? So again, check your Google Analytics to see how many users are actually visiting your contact page, but not fill out the contact form. Again, this is considered to be a conversion rate. This is people coming to your website, seeing your form, and thinking a little bit too much personal information, maybe later. And again, most of the time it's because websites require too much information that users are not comfortable sharing or feel safe submitting to you. Consider simplifying your form for just your necessary information, for instance, your name, email, or phone numbers. Editing your contact form once you feel the need to is really something that I would suggest you assign to a developer or contact tapestry. Again, this is a very important part of your maintenance, but it needs to be done properly. So, take the worry out of your hands, put it in ours. Okay, so and a few notes to actually go by here is just how much more information do you need to actually begin dialogue with the user? If you have their name, their phone number, their email address, do you really need their address or their work phone number or how many children they may have? I think once you have the necessary information, you can quickly begin your dialogue, which increases your conversion rate. Okay. Okay. So also more importantly, check that your form submits to the right users at least once a month. So if you have several contact forms and they're all going to the right email address, it may be info@yourdomain.com or, forms at yourdomain.com, or it may just be going directly to you. Just ensure that if anyone fills out that form, that you are always receiving that information. What happens is sometimes sites get tagged for having inappropriate content, so they may be considered to be spam sites. So any contact form that you do fill out with your domain at the end, just maybe go into your junk mail or probably not even being delivered at all. So it's very important that you check that your forms are always functioning and that someone is always on the receiving end of that submit button. Okay. And I'd like to thank everyone for attending today. I hope that we've made using and maintaining WordPress as simple as possible. I look forward to your feedback and questions.